Hey guys, it's Lauren here, just popping in today to share with you a bright and happy, fun layout using the crepe paper collection called Good Vibes. I fell in love with this collection when I saw it, and although it was a bit tricky to get all the pieces that I wanted down here in Australia, I managed to score some nice little bits and bobs in this collection so that I could create with it. Now, just a little bit on the side, I have attempted this voiceover 3 times, and on each of those times, my gorgeous little cavoodle, Elsa, has barked and barked at a bird, at a person walking in the street. Everything she doesn't normally bark at, she's decided to bark. So I now have a little fur ball here sitting on my lap, getting a nice little pat for me while I do this voiceover. So I'm hoping she's not too noisy. But anyway, so I thought I would start by having a play with my background. I have been inspired by a few scrappers lately that have just had these mystical little backgrounds created using water and acrylic paint and mists and things like that, and I thought I'd give it a go. But as you can see, I quickly decided that that was taking way too long for my style, and I was just going to use a rubber brush there and fix that background nice and quickly so I could move on to creating the layout. So I've just used some watered down pink and white acrylic paint just to create that background. It was quick and easy. Watered down acrylic paints are really good. I just make them up in tubes, 50% acrylic paint, 50% water. Then I've got a spray if I need it, and I've also got an acrylic paint splatter option there as well if you really love using acrylic. So that works for me, and I have a range of colours, and those little bottles you can pick up for $1 or $2 in reject shops and craft stores, pretty much anywhere. So that's a little idea. The crepe paper cut apart sheet there I absolutely love. I love the fact that I had that strip of tags down the bottom of that cardstock that I was easily able to quickly cut out and make 5 little ephemera tags. This is a really cost-effective way of making embellishments if you don't mind spending a little bit of time cutting apart your cut apart sheet. If you're on a tight budget and that gorgeous ephemera pack that's probably just not in the budget this month isn't in your reach, a good way to get an alternative for ephemera pieces is have a look at the cut aparts and see if you can just sit down and do a little fussy cutting, and you might just get the ephemera pieces that you need to create the layout that you want. I picked up the 6x6 paper pad. And this photo here is of the girls that I sat with at a recent retreat I attended, and we just had a group shot there, which was lots of fun, and I really wanted it to pop off the page. I didn't want to lose the photo, and this collection's quite busy and bright, and I thought, how am I going to make it really pop off and not get lost in all those beautiful bright coloured embellishments? So I thought lots of layers behind that photo to make it stand out, give it a bit of dimension, a bit of, as you can see there, some edging, just scruffing up those edges on that last layer. And then I was sort of thinking it needed something else just to sort of rough it up and give it a bit of texture. So I've grabbed some tissue paper there and thought I'd add a layer of tissue paper as well. This turned out great. What I was doing as I set my background, and I sometimes scrapbook like this. It's a little bit confusing. Sorry, my little puppy's trying to eat my microphone. Come on, no. Is to do your background, set it aside, and then I just make a cluster in front of me. It's like doing an extra large DIY embellishment. It is just happy playing, keeping your background in your mind about what you've created with your mixed media background or your paints or your sprays or whatever you've chosen as your background, and just sort of build a cluster in your hands like I'm doing, just playing around to see, to create a layout. And then once your background is dry, you can just bring it on in, place adhesive on the back of your cluster and stick it down. And as you can see, that's what I'm in the process of doing there. Those tags are great just for adding those layers. It's a bit luxurious of me just to whack the whole tag on there. Usually I will rip off the bottom section, so I've got that bottom piece there that I could punch out or use as another layer or a photo corner at some stage. So I was being a bit luxurious there and just whacking that whole tag down there. So just keep in mind being economical with your scrapbooking, and one way to do that is when you're putting lots of tags down, you don't see the whole tag there, and so cut off that bottom piece and just have that top piece poking out, and you'll have a little extra offcut there that you can incorporate on another layer or create a DIY embellishment with it. Loved these little pom-pom frames. And I really thought, when I was worried about losing the photo in the busyness of this layout, this was one way of really highlighting that photo and really drawing your attention in with that cute puffy edge, and it really sort of narrowed it in. The other thing with the photo is often I will only scrap a photo that might have one person or two person or three people in it, which allows when you're looking at your layout to really see that photo. But when you've got a group photo like that where there's 8 or 9 people, it starts to blend into the background as well. So I really try and find ways of making it pop off the page. Here I am now I'm thinking, oh, embellishments, what am I going to do? Let's have a little look in this goodie pack and see what's hiding in there. As you can see, gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. So I've had a little flick through there. In my head I'm thinking, okay, how's this going to look? I like the bird there, I like that little tag there, so I've placed them on top. And then I saw this 12 by 12 piece and thought, fussy cutting. This is, once again, although time consuming, this is a very cost effective way of creating your own ephemera pieces. So here I am, I'm going to fussy cut a couple of birds, some flowers, and create some embellishments to add those extra layers on, which is what I was after. And those little features like the birds and the flowers weren't featured in that ephemera pack, so this was a good way of getting what I wanted. Tell me, are you on a tight budget with your scrapbooking? Are you someone that looks out for cost-effective ways to maximize your scrapbooking products? If so, let me know in the comments what ways you make your scrapbooking supplies stretch. What do you have a budget? If so, what is it? Is it a monthly budget? Is it a weekly budget? Is there places that you go that you know that your scrapbooking is a little bit cheaper there? Or I would like to know your ways, and that will help me get some more tips and ideas on how to make my scrapbooking go further and without breaking the budget. So let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think about scrapbooking economically and your tips and tricks on how to achieve that. So this fussy cutting, as you can see, takes a little bit of time. I'm still learning to use my Final Cut Pro here, my video editing software. Otherwise I would have zoomed it forward and cut to the end where I have a nice little pile of embellishments, but I'm not quite that tech savvy yet. Hopefully when I get a little bit more time I can have a play around and learn those skills, so that will make the video a little bit more a little quicker for you when you're watching it, and go from there. But I have to say, fussy cutting, although time consuming, sometimes when you feel like you can't face a whole layout, but you do want to have something in your hands and playing with it, go get a really great piece of cardstock with some really bold, bigger pieces and have a little fussy cut, and you'll have a little pile of ephemera there before you know it. So I encourage you to do that. So here we go. I've got my cluster section made, my background's dry. I'm looking at ways of making it pop off the page, so I'm using some foam double-sided adhesive there, and I'm going to stick down my cluster. And as you can see, it kind of fits in there really well. Now I'm going to pull out my fussy cut pieces and see where I'd like them to sit. These little birdies were like, they're kind of tricky in the way that they're looking, and I was like, okay, it sort of has to be on that corner so it looks back at the people. And then I thought, this one's looking off into nowhere, and I was overthinking it. Thinking, next time, Lauren, it's a bird, stick it on the page. But sometimes I get hung up on those little things, even with the photos that where people are looking in different directions. I try and, should it be on this side of the page or that side of the page, because they're looking across the page. So sometimes I get a bit funny with those things, but I think in my head there's a certain way that I like things, and I'm sure that in your head there's a certain way you like things. So we just have to go with what our heart says where it needs to be, and just follow our gut with that, and we should end up something that we're happy with in the end. So I really like those gorgeous little delightful birds. The colours are beautiful, and I love the way this layout's coming together. I'm using a lot of foam here to create that dimension. I am mindful of using oodles of adhesive and foam in my albums. Like, they fill up really quickly, and when I'm doing multiple layouts a week, it can be tricky. So I sort of treat myself. Most of my layouts are relatively flat, but every now and then I go a little crazy with some foam adhesive and get a nice layout that's really popping off the page. And this is one where I've done that. Foam everywhere, pom-poms, ephemera, that's where I'm going. So here I'm thinking about my title and how I want the layout to sort of carry and sit, and what my title might be. This little title here, it says Weekend Vibes. I love that. We're away at a retreat. We're right on the beach in Coffs Harbour. Beautiful, sunny, lots of laughs. Weekend Vibes was definitely the title that needed to go on there. And then I've had these thickers. Well, they're like chipboard alphabet thickers for a long time. I can't tell you what brand, like what their theme is called or what collection they matched, but I really love them, and they're fairly old, but I've been looking for a layout where I get to start using them a little bit. And I thought, with these pops of yellow in this collection and a little bit of yellow in the photo, I thought, hey, I think I can work something here. So I've managed to get the title Fun there, and then I was sort of playing around going, is that Inspired Daily the right one to go there? But in the end I settle on it and think, yeah, that's nice. It builds that cluster out to the left hand side of the page more, which is where I wanted it to go, to follow that mixed media background that I did there. And I think that came together. We were having lots of fun. These little pieces, I have a punch by We Are Memory Keepers, which is just a hole reinforcing punch. I think it's designed for your planners to reinforce, so when you've got a ring bound planner, to reinforce your pages, and you can customize those. But I just love them for my scrapbooking. It adds that little extra embellishment, subtle, not too overpowering, a little different from a star or a heart, which we're commonly our go-to for little accent pieces like this, and just creates a little bit of a different effect there. So as you can see, I'm kind of feeling, yep, this is coming together, but I just want some title words or some extra little hidden layers somewhere. So I'm just going through some sticker sheets. I've got a whole little bag of alpha sticker sheets and title sticker sheets. Predominantly I use those for Project Life, but they're perfect for when I'm hunting down little spots like this to add that little extra element there. Those are the Tim Holtz. I think they're called. I can't remember what they're called. That's not a very good thing, but I will link those below. They're little booklets that have a whole heap of titles, black and white. You can get some that have a craft colour, and they're really good. Good for that. Splashing some Heidi Swap gold colour shine there just to give it a little bit of sparkle. And there we go. There's my layout. I hope you like it. I hope you've enjoyed this process video. Give me a like and share it with your friends if you are feeling inspired by it. And I'll catch you guys again soon. Take care. Bye.